Tracy, has your opinion of the young Cavaliers general manager changed since the deadline?
I really never had one in the beginning because of the timing that he received the job. He really didn't have much time to go out and, really improve this team. But he's done a phenomenal job. He gets an A+ for bringing in the right pieces to not only make this team a contender getting out of the Eastern Conference, but in my opinion now, they could possibly win the whole thing.
You
wow.
on me about being hot takey?
Listen.
Tracy McGrady.
Listen.
Okay.
Listen. This is, I think, the best team LeBron has been assembled since being in Cleveland. With the depth.
They won a championship a couple years ago.
They did, but they didn't have this much depth, and they didn't have playing against Golden State with Kevin Durant.
Okay, so this is an interesting conversation because I do think from spots 3 to 9, they're better than they have been before. But they don't have Kyrie. That was a huge buffer that they don't have now,
right?
Or LeBron doesn't have, especially.
Right. They don't have Kyrie, but they have other guys that can also create their own shot. Now, they're not as talented as Kyrie to go out and get 29 points in the finals, but I think they have enough guys that can do similar things, and it equals to what Kyrie
This conversation right here, we could go on and on about this. We could both score points on each other probably. This will determine whether LeBron's going to be in Cleveland,
right?
I think.
And look, this again, we've been saying this since last summer, how competitive this team is in the playoffs. That's what's going to decide whether LeBron stays. That's it. All the people with this tea leaf and that tea leaf, and he looked at this, he posted this on Instagram. Guess what? If he thinks he has a team going forward he can win with, he will stay. If he doesn't, he will.
Let me say this about Koby.
Very talented team.
In the summer, and there were circumstances outside of his control, I absolutely agree with you. They were not able to make a deal for Paul George. They had 2 bites at the apple. They weren't able to make it. It wasn't necessarily Kobe's fault, but they didn't make the deal. Then they make a deal for Kyrie that was not the best deal in the history of the universe. I think that's fair. So Kobe's reputation as a deal maker was, let's just say, still forming. Now he executes these trades, which were complex, which Woj points out in this story, goes over point by point how difficult this was, and does it under immense stress because we were on top of him every single day. He grew up as a GM in this last week and proved that he can make a deal. And that's how his opinion of change, not just us up here, but people in the league will have more respect for him going forward.
Well, here's what I think. I mean, look, one of the things I respect most about what he did in the last week was not just the deals he did, who he brought in, the decision he made, but I had a conversation with him over the weekend because I was with the team. And he just sort of said, hey, I wanted this to work because I made the IT deal, and I finally had to admit I was wrong and it wasn't working, and I was going to go fix it. And that, to me, is a tremendous asset. If you can do that as a GM, and there are a lot of men in this business who cannot do that, then that will help you cut your losses quicker and get back on the right track in a way that you could not if you just said, no, we had to trade Kyrie. It worked. IT worked. It has to work. So that is what impressed me a lot in this week with Koby Altman. Now, again, as you point out, Brian, that front office is the one that dug the hole with trading Kyrie and getting that load from Boston back in the first place. They seem to have maybe gotten themselves to a degree out of that hole. I don't know how much credit they get for getting back to even, if they've gotten back to even, or maybe they've gotten above even. We'll just have to wait and see.
Here's what'll be interesting going forward. When the Cavs sat there last Thursday and looked at their options, they could have traded for DeAndre Jordan. They had an essential agreement in place with the Clippers to get him. Then, even after they made the Laker deal, from what I am told, they had a second chance. The Clippers still were doing it. Okay, they couldn't get the pieces that they wanted to. They had to move Iman Shumpert off. Chicago was a place where Iman Shumpert could have ended up. They had another chance, and instead still passed on DeAndre and went ahead and made Rodney Hood and George Hill deals. So I think they got younger and more athletic in that. Will they miss having gone for DeAndre Jordan at the end of the day in the playoffs? I don't know, but this is Koby making a gambit. And also, listen, I believe in these players around LeBron. He didn't just go for the star. He could have won the press conference if he had gotten DeAndre Jordan. We all would have praised him. But he stuck. People don't know.
I'm more impressed by the Utah deal.
This deal works out better than trading for DeAndre Jordan. Right? As talented as he is, I think this is better.
You say that because you're in the league and you know about that, but everybody out there who was on his neck probably would have been more excited about DeAndre Jordan.
But again, that's a sign of maturity and someone who understands. I need to worry about what's actually going on and not the optics. And frankly, it takes guys years sometimes in a front office to learn that. The fact that he was able to do all of that this week, that really impressed me. I thought that was pretty great.